if we look at the standpoint only from choreography, you know, we see already that Yip Man Wing Chun is a little bit different than, for example, Yun Kei San Wing Chun or Yu Choi Wing Chun and Mai Ge Wong Wing Chun, you know, who have a different pieces, choreography in, for example, their let's say their second part of the Sinam Tao form, right? Whereas Yip Man has the normal punch, then opens up, and then does the Tjun, right, and fists and redraws. Yun Kei San, Mai Ge Wong, Yu Choi, right, they have a little bit extra movements, right? So they go out, for example, and then they start to do these kind of movements, you know, this kind of snake movements. And, you know, if it was just a choreography, you know, who cares? And you say, okay, Yip Man has it in his beauty, who cares? But if we go further back and we look at the Kut from the 1890s, and we look at the Kut, you know, the 1890s Kut that was preserved in the Seehok Wing Chun, or the Snake Crane Wing Chun in English, by the Law family. And if we go further back, you know, to the Kun Kut of the 1850s, and from the Wing Chun that was created in the 1700s, the origin of the system, if we look at that Kut, we find much more important things than just choreography that is altered. We find that the whole base of the system, the internal principles and the cultivation, you know, of mind, of the body, of the force flow handling, you know, of the momentum handling, you know, the whole theory of the 6 joint powers or the 7 bows, you know, that it all got watered down in history. So why is the question, right? Why it got modified, you know, and when exactly it got modified. Now the key point here is the Kun Kut from the Law family from the 1890s, and the Kun Kut from Yi Kam, who was a Red Boat member and who passed his knowledge on to the Chou family, who eventually went into Malaysia. If we look at that Kun Kut, we see that Wing Chun was a very, very internal system, which placed great emphasis, you know, on mind, body, and energy. You know, force flow handling, momentum handling. You know, Jin, Qi, Yi, all these things, very deep concept that make up a very complete TCM, or traditional Chinese martial arts system, were all embedded in Wing Chun's DNA. And then over the course of history, it just got watered down until almost nothing left. You know, and that started around the time of the Taiping uprising of the Heavenly Kingdom. You know, when all the commotion was going on, and they needed the rebels against the Qing, right? Needed to prepare them quickly as fighters in order to get rid of the Qing, right, and restore the Ming. But of course, things got lost. I mean, they didn't have time to teach all the internals. You know, Wing Chun was a very balanced system for mind, body, energy. It was not only about fighting, but at that period of time, they needed, for that specific goals, to create fighters. So internal stuff was taken out, and we can see that very clearly if we study the Kun Kut from before the 1850s, or around the 1850s, and the Kun Kut of the late part of the 1800s, right, the 1890 that was preserved in the Law family. So then we see it's not only about choreography, you know, it's about rebuilding Wing Chun from the source, and then training it, you know, and seeing what it brings in terms of extras. And I can say out of personal experience, it's mind-blowing, you know. Skill goes up, and not only fighting skill, but skill goes up in terms of balance, you know, in terms of health, in terms of many other things outside of just fighting. You know, Wing Chun is so much more than just fighting, right? I mean, if people are still busy with how can I defend a punch and what can I do about this and this after 3-4 years of studying Wing Chun, I think something is wrong. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion. So like I was saying, if we look at this part, you know, like for example the Siu Tao, the second part, where some lineages before Yip Man have the snake element inside, and the further we go back in time, you know, IWKA, his teacher, right, Chun, we have Chun, and if we look at these people, you see, more we go down the line, more was taken out in terms, because yeah, if we think practically, why we need that, right? And we can also put it somewhere else. And yeah, because they don't realize anymore the importance of that set and what it was for. You know, if we know where that set comes from, or that piece, and you can see, for example, here on this video, you know, I will just keep on talking, but you see it now on the screen. You don't see me anymore, but you see the screen. So you see, that's where it comes from. It's identical. And if you, it's for, let's say, 70% identical, if we take the lineage up from IWKA, so the Seihok Wing Chun, the Snake Crane Wing Chun, and it's almost 100% identical if we go one step more up to the Yikam Wing Chun, right? Which was passed down to the Chou family and ended up in Malaysia. Then you see this is pure Mei, and or Ngo Mei in Cantonese. And if we look at that, we study the theory, then we know, oh, this gives a great amount of joint handling ability, which greatly enforces and gives us more power in our 7 bows power transmission in order to get the Jin out. You know, so the founder of the Siu Tao, yeah, which according to my research and stuff is Mu Sun, is very, very clearly very smart person who fused together the Mei 12 Swang and the White Crane from Fujian, fused them together and came up with the Siu Tao form. And if you look at the Yikam Siu Tao, it's one long set, and it's actually has 4 parts. And if we see the first part, it's exactly almost identical to nowadays Siu Tao. You know, and the closer we go up along the family tree into the past from Yip Man onwards, so we go to Yip Man, then we go to IWKA, right? And we go to the Seihok Wing Chun, and the closer we go up into the past, we see the closer it resembles the Yikam Siu Tao. And then we see the second part is all about the stance turning and stuff. It's very close to what nowadays Chun. And we see the third part very close to nowadays beauty. And we do see the fourth part where we find the 7-star footwork, as in Samkok bow footwork, and we see there all the forms actually of the nowadays very famous Wing Chun system, all fused into one set. And it was only after the 1850s that the set was split, most probably, according to my research and the research of Hendrik Santo and Robert Chun, by Leung Lang Kwai, who passed this system on to Wong Wao Bo, and then we have the whole lineage going down from there. So basically, look at this picture. You can see very clearly we have Leung Lang Kwai, who split the form into 3 sets of Sinum Tao, Cham Kyu, Piu Ji. This what happened around 1854. And then you see Leung Lang Kwai passed it on to the Law family, who kept it secret and kept it all closed door, until Sifu Wen Yong decided to convince his Sifu only 5-6 years ago and to open it up to the public. And that's here in Hong Kong. The Law family eventually went down to Hong Kong. And then we have the other part passed down from Leung Lang Kwai to Wong Wao Bo, to Leung Jan and stuff, and that we know that story. And then the other part of Wing Chun, IWKA, who was not involved in the whole splitting into 3 sets, and passed his knowledge on to the Chou family, which went into Malaysia. So it's very, very interesting to see the lines, to trace it back, and then you can just come to one conclusion, is with this old knowledge of Ermei and of Fujian White Crane, with this knowledge, and we put it back into Wing Chun, we gain so much body, mind and energy. And very clear, I'm not talking about here promoting my lineage is the best, no. I'm here asking the whole Wing Chun community to open up their eyes and come out of their boxes, no matter what lineage you're doing. Can be Wang Qiu, can be Leung Chun, can be Yun Kei-san, right? Can be Mai Ge Wong, it can be whatever lineage. To look at Wing Chun's history, look at the original Kun Kut, take the technology from the past, put it back into your Sinum Tao, the knowledge, and improve your Wing Chun. Because in the end, if we go far enough back, we were all one family. And it's crucial that this knowledge is going to be put back into the system. I will make other videos later on the precise history of Wing Chun and how it all came together and how it all happened. But best of all would be to read my book. I mean, it would be too much actually to tell all on a video. But I think with this video already I proved a lot of Wing Chun's real history, and I hope that also stops some of the charlatans out there dead in their tracks, because they cannot come up with these original Kun Kuts from the 1850s or from the 1890s. Wing Chun was a great art, like I said, more than just fighting. It was really an art to cultivate ourselves in mind, body and energy. Hope this video opened up some mind, and can imagine for some it to be like a big bomb exploding, but I hope it's a bomb of positive energy and not a source of another wave of useless negative energy and attacks. Thank you for watching.